Hi, my name is Ben, and today I am reviewing Juror Number 2, which is the newest Clint Eastwood film and probably his last film, considering that he is 94 years old. I'm told often that I have a liberal bias. I just want to point out that Clint Eastwood is a conservative filmmaker, and Clint Eastwood is one of my favorite filmmakers. He is just, I'm so excited to talk about Juror Number 2. This is a film in which Clint Eastwood is exploring a multitude of issues, and it is all surrounding the judicial branch. It is a film that explores poor policing, public defenders being overworked, career politicians, a system that doesn't seek the truth, rather seeks a verdict and self-interest over justice. I had known that this movie wasn't getting much of an advertisement from Warner Brothers, and I was a little hesitant. I just wasn't really feeling this. I didn't know much about this movie going in. Oh my God, I'm like so excited to now talk about Juror Number 2 after seeing it. I am one of the 50 theaters that got it. Local theater here in Sacramento is one of those 50. And I was kind of blown away by this movie. Like, full stop. Like, this movie is really great. And we're going to talk about why I think it's so good. But this movie is one of Clint Eastwood's best in quite a while. This stands up with some of his best films. I was just astonished with what Clint achieves here in Juror Number 2. And this is probably Clint Eastwood's last movie. It's a movie that is almost coming to understand America where it is and the faults within the American society. It's a movie about the truth, and Clint Eastwood is very earnest about that. He is a very earnest filmmaker, and in this movie, he is seeking a truth and how we as Americans must turn towards the truth at our own expense. That is the premise of this movie, is we must seek the truth no matter the cost and despite what it may cost us. The innocent look guilty in this movie, and the guilty are not as bad as you are believing. Rather, it's just people suffering. What Juror Number 2 follows is it follows a juror played by Nicholas Hoult, who is Juror Number 2 on a high-profile murder trial, who finds himself struggling with a serious moral dilemma that could influence the verdict and potentially convict or free the accused killer, but doing so would be against his self-preservation. We'll get into a little bit of spoilers later, but that is the broad premise of which Juror Number 2 takes place. And this moral conundrum is what makes this movie great. You understand everyone's beliefs in this movie and why they feel this way. Justin Temp, which is the character played by Nicholas Hoult, he is kind of a victim of circumstances. He is unaware of exactly what has unfolded. And when he learns the truth and he learns the reality with his past, he now feels this pain of, do I speak honestly about what I know, even though it may damn me? And then you have this character, Faith, played by Toni Collette, who I think is the standout performance in this movie. She is the DA running for election who has a slam dunk case. And if this slam dunk case goes her way, then this is going to really help her election. This is really going to give her a lot in the polls. And then you have these jurors, the other 11 of them, who are presented a certain level of evidence and are in full belief of this man's guilt based on everything that they've come to learn and their own experiences and their own biases. In this story, no one we follow is technically a bad person. Rather, everyone has shared blame in a situation that may lead to an innocent man's imprisonment. And that is the moral conundrum of this movie. And the reason this happens and the reason they do this is because of the justice system, which is flawed, and the film argues that isn't concerned with justice or truth. It is a damning statement from Clint Eastwood that he pulls off with wonders. Talking about the Nicholas Hoult performance, Nicholas Hoult is an actor that I respect, but I can't ever say that I've noticed anything that he stood so far above any other actor. This movie, he's great. Like, just straight up, this is a great Nicholas Hoult performance. I'd be shocked to say if this wasn't his best performance he's ever given. If he's given a better performance in a movie, I don't remember it. He is astonishing with what he is asked to do by Clint Eastwood in this movie. And what makes him exceptional as this character of Justin is you instantly relate to this character and you find yourself asking, what would I do in his situation? This character is in such a conundrum because no one cares about his truth. No one cares about his past. They only judge him for the past. They don't see the evolution of a man. And if he reveals what he knows, he is the perfect victim who will get kind of thrown in jail. And Holt weaves through this narrative. I am going to get into the slightest bit of spoilers. This is not a spoiler if you've seen the trailer, but just in case, this film follows Nicholas Holt's character of Justin, and essentially the inciting incident of this movie, which is the murder of this young woman who is believed to be killed by her boyfriend. You actually find out she is killed by a car, and the driver of that car is the character of Justin, played by Holt, who at the time doesn't actually realize what happened. He didn't realize that he hit her. A year later, and the trial happens, and he puts two and two together. And now he has this chance to come clean, but he has a past. And if this gets revealed, he may be screwing himself and throwing himself in jail for a crime that he unknowingly did commit, but not out of malice. That is the drama of this movie. And with this, he has to have a blank slate because we are unsure how to feel about it. We are unsure if he is a reliable narrator to us, if he's holding back any details. And you have to believe every moment of which this character is going through, and the facade that he wears to the other juror members as to not show his hand, not to overextend his hand, or to possibly tip at what is going on. Half the time you're unsure what he's going to do. It's a pressure cooker of a movie that way. And let's now talk about the Toni Collette performance, which is the next big lead in this movie. She plays Faith, the attorney who is up for DA, and for whom a win on this case would be a huge boost to her election. She has such faith in this case, and it begins to erode. She begins to ask questions, and as she begins to seek the truth, but what does the truth mean for her? Does this mean the end of her reelection? Can she do more good in the position that she is? It's these moral conundrums that these characters find herself in, and this journey is fascinating. Toni Collette does a real wonder with this movie. And there's a point in the movie where I thought she was exiting the movie and I thought it was a mistake. I wanted more of her. They bring her back into this movie, and this character unfolds in a way that I found fascinating and leads to this ending that I just think is wonderful. I think it's a great movie ending. It is a one that left me floored, and it is one that leaves you just the right amount of thematic value that this movie has been hitting, the ambiguity of everything. It's just a true character study, well done. Now, there are issues that I want to raise with this movie, or at least point out. There is a racial politics to this film that I don't always know how to feel about. The film has really true black characters in this film who are juror members. Both are quick to cast their vote for guilty and essentially not give this man a fair trial. And this feels intentional by Clint Eastwood, and it feels like a level of commentary. And they are the jurors that have the most lines outside of Nicholas Holt and J.K. Simmons in this movie. Here is the generous read of how I interpreted these true characters. I think what Clint Eastwood is trying to show is black men and women are disillusioned by a system that continuously fails them. That is what I believe this movie is trying to show, and that is what Clint Eastwood is pointing to. At times, the issue that juror number 2 has is it almost feels like these characters are saying the system works, which goes against what I believe what he is trying to say with these two characters. It gets a little muddled. It wasn't enough to bother me. But overall, this is a really great character study. It's a great movie about law and ethics. And it's kind of a shame that this movie isn't getting more press. I cannot believe that this movie was only released to 50 theaters. I think had this really gotten a nice push, I think there'd be an audience for this movie. It makes me wonder, what is Warner Brothers doing over there? And specifically, what is David Zaslav doing? You know, Clint Eastwood has made over 40 films for Warner Brothers. They quite literally have a DVD compilation of Clint Eastwood's 40 film collection, Warner Brothers. They've been partners for over 50 years. I just want to read this because I think this is insanity. He's directed 18 out of his 19 films of the 21st century were made through Warner Brothers. During that time, he seems to have 4, maybe 5 definitive financial flops. Those were Bloodwork, Flag of Our Fathers, Richard Jewell, Cry Macho, and probably Jersey Boys, which made more than its budget, but probably didn't make enough to break even. Let's just ignore the fact that Cry Macho came out during COVID, so that was always going to be a weird financial question on that. In the meantime, during that, in this 21st century, he made American Sniper on like $60 million and got the film to basically $500 million. In that meantime as well, he got Mystic River, which received nominations and a win. Same with Letters for Iwo Jima. Same with American Sniper, Richard Jewell. These were films that got acclaim for the studio. I mean, $1 Million Baby won Best Picture. American Sniper was nominated. Mystic River was nominated. Juror Number 2 cost $35 million. He is 94. How could you treat one of your stars, one of your icons, someone who's been so loyal to the company, someone who has delivered financial hit after financial hit for you for basically 5 decades? This isn't just a case of what have you done for me lately, which was Richard Jewell and Cry Macho. There are legit reasons to believe those movies underperformed. This is a guy that has delivered for you time and time again on moderate budgets. That's the thing that I find so shocking about this. This is not a director who spends $200 million on his movies and has them fail. This is a director who spends $30 million and can usually turn a really good profit. He's known for his work ethic. He's known for always coming in under budget. I just don't understand why you treat him like this. I think it's an insult to a legend. I think it is an insult to fans. I think it is a disgusting thing to be marked with as a studio. You don't want to do business with him, don't do business with him. But just to allow him to make a movie and not give it a push or a press, like, I don't understand what Warner Brothers is doing. I was pretty turned off by their decision by this. That doesn't take away anything from the film, which I think is great, and I think you should check it out. Juror Number 2, I'm going big with this. I'm going 4 out of 5 stars. So thank you all for watching, and if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.